Hi everyone, my name is Sissy. Welcome to today's tutorial. I will show you how to make this trendy gown here. It is a ready to wear size. Let's get into making of this beautiful gown. So guys, this is my fabric here. I have about 3 yards of fabric and my net here. So you're going to be using about 3 yards. So right, what I'm going to do here is fold my fabric into 2. So the folding of this fabric is 18 inches, okay? The hip is 10 inches plus 8 inches, alright? That is what I use to fold the fabric. So for me, I'm going to mark out the length, which is 37 inches. That's the full length I'm going to be using for this gown. Then after I'm done marking it out, what I'm going to do next is to mark my shoulder divided by 2, which is 7. I'm going to mark it here, then come down by 1 inch. After I'm done marking my shoulder by 1 inch, I'm going to go ahead to just connect it like this in a slant to create my shoulder slope. So the next thing I'm going to do after I'm done with this is to come over to the shoulder and cross check it. Then after I'm done, I'm going to go ahead to come down by 7 inches. Another 7 inches, which is my armhole divided by 2. I'm going to go ahead to create a line like this, then connect it in a straight line. Just look at what I'm doing and do yours the same way. So after I'm done, I'm going to extend this line here. Here I'm going to mark out 10 inches, for which is my hip. Okay, my hip is divided by 4 is 10, so I'll mark out 10 inches there. Here I marked out the middle of this armhole, and then I'm going to go ahead to connect it to the 10 inches. Okay, so look at what I'm doing and do yours the same way. So after connecting, this is what I have. You can see it here, and here I'm going to go ahead to measure my half length, which is 17 inches. Then I'm going ahead to connect it in a straight line. So I'm going to measure my waist, which is 10. Okay, the waist will be 10 inches plus 2 inches sewing allowance. Okay, just add 2 inches extra to the 10 inches, which is your hip divided by 4, which is 10, and then plus 2 inches. Okay, so I went ahead to connect it like this, and then I'm going to extend it to the tip of this line here. All right, so you can see where I'm pointing. Okay, so just go ahead and connect it there. Just do yours the same way, just the way I'm doing mine, you get the same results. Okay, so after marking it out like this, you can see what I have. So I'm going to create that flare shape. I'm going to come up by 1.5 inches here, and then go ahead and connect it like this. Look at the way I'm connecting it. Do yours the same. Connect it in a curve. Okay, it's not straight, it's in a curve. And do yours the same way. All right, so for the neckline here, I'm going to advise you to come down by 3.5. Okay, 3.5. Here I did 3 inches, but 3.5 is the best. Okay, here come out by 3 inches. Okay, then here I'm going to just go ahead to connect it. All right, after connecting it, this is what I have. Then from this point that I have here, I'm going to measure 4 inches. At that 4 inches, I'm going to mark it out here. This is the slit at the front of this gown. Okay, then after marking it, I'm going to cut it out. So look at the way I'm cutting, and do yours the same way. If you have not yet subscribed, please do subscribe, like, share, comment on this video. So after cutting, you can see what it looks like. So pay attention here and do yours the same way. So after I'm done cutting, the next thing I'm going to do is to open up this slit here. Look at what I'm doing. So go ahead and open up the slit and let's stop at the 4 inches. All right, you can see what I'm trying to show you right here. You can see. So the next thing I'm going to do is to cut out the back. For the back, I'm also going to use the front to cut the back. So this is it here. I've folded my fabric into 2, and I went ahead to come up by 1.5 inches. That's what I marked out here, and I'm just going to connect to the 3 inches. Okay, so after marking it out, the next thing I'm going to do is to just come over to the armhole here, and I'm going to go ahead to mark out half an inch. Okay, to mark out half an inch around this part. If you don't want to do this, it's okay. You can just go ahead and cut out the front armhole and the back armhole the same thing. If you don't want to do it, it's also going to come out very nice. Okay, so after cutting and marking now, this is what it's going to look like. So what I'm going to do next is just to cut out everything like this. So look how I'm cutting out the back and cut yours the same way. So guys, after I'm done cutting here, it's time for me to cut out the sleeve. The next thing I'm going to do is to mark out my full length, which is 26 inches. It depends on how long you want it to be, so you can make it as long as you want. Then here I'm going to mark out 7 inches, which is my armhole divided by 2 plus 2 inches. Okay, then I'm going to add 1 inch extra. All right, so here after I'm done marking it, I'm going to mark out 4 inches. Okay, then I'll come down by 5 inches. All right, I hope you understand what I'm trying to do here. So just look at what I'm doing and do yours the same way. I already have a tutorial on how to cut sleeve, so just look at what I'm doing here. So I'm just going to go ahead to connect that 5 inches together, and here I'm just going to connect this line like this. So this is the length I'm going to be using. So from this 4 inches that I have here, I'm just going to mark it here, 4 inch. I'm going to bring it down. You can see what I'm doing here. So after bringing it down, I'm going to go ahead to measure the middle of this line. So whatever I have for the middle, I'm just going to mark out the middle here. Okay, so just whatever you have, mark out the middle of this line, and then when you're done marking it out, you're going to go ahead to connect. Okay, you making it like an S shape. Okay, just go ahead and connect something like this. I'm trying to show you what I'm going to do here. So I'm just going to use my pattern master to make it properly. So this is what you should do, and just look at what I'm doing and do yours the same way. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. So just look at what I'm doing and do yours the same way. Okay, so after marking, I went ahead to cross check what I have to make sure that what I have aligned with what I'm supposed to use. So after marking it, I went ahead to trace the line properly. So for here, I'm going to come down by my elbow line. My elbow is 12 inches. Okay, so I added 1 inch extra. Okay, which making it 13 inches, right? So from your shoulder to your elbow, okay, mine is 12 inches plus 1 inch, making it 13 inches. Then from that 13 inches, I'm going to divide whatever I have for the full length and mark that the middle, and then go ahead and connect it. Okay, so the reason why I divided it is because I'm going to be having nets around this place. All right, so here I'm going to be measuring. So I'm going to check what I have here. Whatever I have there, I'm just going to mark it around the armhole here. This depends on how wide you want the sleeve to be. So if you want the bottom part of the sleeve to be very wide, go ahead and just mark it out. Okay, I'm just doing what I'm doing here is just a free sleeve. Okay, just a free sleeve. That's what I'm trying to do here. All right, so after bringing it down, and the same thing, you can see what I have here. So what I'm going to do next is just to trim it out, because I took out 2 inches away from this sleeve. So I went ahead to just connect it like this. You can see what I'm doing. And then the next thing I went ahead to do is just to cut out the sleeve. Remember I said I have a full tutorial on how to cut your sleeve on my YouTube channel. You can just go ahead and watch it and use it as a guideline to make your sleeve. Okay, so after cutting it out, this is what I have. So this is what it's looking like right now. So what I'm going to do next is to write out the parts that I'll be having for my net. So this part here is for the net. You can see what I'm doing here. So I'm going to go ahead to cut it into three actually. So I will be having the net in the middle of my sleeve. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead to mark out this line so that I don't get confused when I'm cutting my sleeve. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out my sleeve right now. So to cut your sleeve, just go ahead and fold your fabric into two like this, and then go ahead and cut it out using your pattern. Okay, so make sure that you add about half an inch sewing allowance. All right, look at the way I'm cutting mine and cut yours the same way. So after cutting, this is what I have here. You can see I have my net. Okay, I cut out two of these sleeves. Okay, two pieces for my two sleeves. All right, so this is what I have, and you can see what it looks like. And my net here, you can see I have two pieces for each of the sleeve. All right, I have two pieces of net and two pieces of this part. All right, so go ahead and do yours the same way. So for the gown, here I'm just going to go ahead to cut out the facing. Okay, it's very simple. Just go ahead and cut out the same shape of the front piece and the back piece. Okay, that's what I'm just trying to do here. Just cut out the same shape. All right, just look at what I'm doing and do yours the same way. Look at the way I'm marking it out. I mark out the same way, just and it's just the facing. That's what I'm trying to cut here, that I will use to turn it, to turn the fabric when I'm stitching it. Okay, so that I can cover up the rough edges. All right, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. So just go ahead and cut out your own facing. All right, so after this is what it looks like while I'm cutting. So just pay attention here and look at the way I'm going to cut out this facing and cut yours the same way. So guys, you can see what my facing looks like after I'm done cutting. You can see what I have here. So you go ahead and do yours the same way. It's very simple. So this is for the front, and I'm going to also go ahead to cut out the facing for the back. This is what it looks like, and see how it looks like when I'm done arranging it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead to cut out the facing for the back, and then we'll continue with this tutorial. Alright guys, for the sewing of this tutorial, what I'm going to do here is just to place my facing on top of my main fabric. Just look at what I'm doing here. Pay attention here and do yours the same way. So I'm going to place my facing like this, front facing front. You can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to go ahead to stitch it down. Okay, so this is the part I'm going to be sewing. Okay, please do not stitch the shoulder. All right, do not stitch the shoulder. Okay, here don't stitch it, just stitch this other part, the neckline, the opening at the front. Please do not close the shoulder, do not stitch the shoulder. All right, just the other part, close it up, but do not stitch the shoulder. Okay, so I'm just going to turn around this facing like this so that it will be easier for me to sew. So if you want to sew your facing, to make it easier for you, do not start sewing from the side of the facing. Turn it around, sew directly on the fabric. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to show you here. Just sew directly on the fabric, not on the facing. Okay, and remember, do not close the shoulder area. All right, close all this part except the shoulder. All right, so go ahead and stitch it, then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. I'm also going to repeat the same thing for the front here, sorry, for the back. So I'm going to place my back facing here, and then I'm going to go ahead to like cut it out. Okay, it seems like my back facing is a bit too big, so after I'm done trimming it out, I'm going to go ahead to also join the back facing with the with the back fabric. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. Okay, so after I'm not cutting it out, the next thing I'm going to do is just repeat the same thing that I did for the front. I'm also going to go ahead to only stitch the facing from the actual piece, okay, from the actual fabric, and I'm going to go ahead to close up the neckline. And please do not stitch the shoulder, don't stitch the shoulder, okay, only the neckline. So for the sleeve, this is what I'm going to do. So for the sleeve, I'm going to go ahead to join the sleeve back the way is supposed to be, okay. Just go ahead and join your sleeve back, okay, just the way it's supposed to be. All right, the way it was on the pattern before, just go ahead and join it, okay. I'm going to be joining my sleeve, including the net, together to create the sleeve design. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead to join my sleeve using 1/2 inch that I added as sewing allowance, and also going to go ahead to join this down part with 1/2 inch together with the sleeve. All right, so I'm going to go ahead to do this, then I'll come back and show you what it actually looks like. So after sewing, this is what I have. I did not stitch the shoulder area, and then I'm going to go ahead to trim, okay, and notch this neckline, okay. Look at the way I'm notching it, all right, and not just the same way. You need to be careful, okay. Look at what I'm doing here, pay attention here, look at what I'm doing, and do yours the same way, okay, and you're going to get a very beautiful results. All right, so I'm going to go ahead to trim out what I need to trim out, and then notch all the parts that I need to notch. All right, and if you can see, you can notice that the shoulder is open, okay, and then I went ahead to notch it properly, and this is what I have. All right, this is how it's going to look like when you turn it around. You can see the shoulder is open, okay. So after I'm done, I went ahead to turn it around and make sure that the facing, I wanted to turn the facing with the fabric. That's what I have here, and then push the facing behind the fabric, okay. So you should have something like this. Look at what I have. So here you're just going to use your overlocking machine to just overlock the facing, okay. That's what you're going to do here. You can see what I have. You can see that the shoulders are open, and this is what I have here. So just go ahead and use your iron and iron it properly, and you will have these results, okay. You can see how beautiful and clean it looks, okay. You can see what it looks like. It looks so nice, and it came out very well. So just go ahead and do yours the same way. You can see my shoulders are open, so make sure you don't stitch the shoulder, okay. So I'm still going to go ahead to repeat the same thing with the back. You can see what I have. I'm also going to go ahead to trim it and notch the back area, okay. So do yours the same way. So after I'm done, this is what I have. I went ahead to fold the back properly. You can see what I have. To go ahead and arrange it properly like this, I make sure you do not sew this shoulder part. Do not stitch the shoulder, please, okay. So next thing I'm going to do is to join the shoulder, and the shoulder of the front and the shoulder of the back. So look at what I'm going to do. Just pay attention here and look at what I'm trying to do here. I'm going to join the shoulder of the front and the back, and also join the shoulder of the facings together, okay. Make sure that it's sitting at the middle point, and then go ahead and close both the shoulders, okay. And repeat the same thing here. All right, look at what I'm doing, pay attention here, look at what I'm doing, and do yours the same way. It's going to help you have a very good and neat finishing around the shoulder area. It's not going to be bulky, okay. So for the for the waist here, I'm going to be adding a loop around the waist. That is why it has that tight illusion on the gown. So next thing you're going to do, just mark out the waistline like this, and then go ahead and bring in your loop, okay. So for the loop, this is how I created it. I wanted to take a piece of fabric like this, just use about 2 inches, fold it into two like this, and then top stitch on this to hold it down like this. And then after you're done creating your loop, go ahead and cut it. Okay, so this is the way I did this loop that I'm holding here. So this one is for the lacing. Okay, I'm going to use this long one to lace it, so you can make it as long as you want. Okay, so I have about 59 inches here, so just go ahead and make it as long as you want. All right, you can see what I'm trying to show you here. So this little one that I have here for the lacing is, for the loop, is about 2 inches. Okay, so go ahead and fold it into two like this, and then start placing it around the waist area. Okay, I have about 3 loops here, so 3 is totally okay and fine. You can also do 2, you can also do 1, depends on what you want, but 3 is okay. So I went ahead to place the loop on my fabric like this. You can see what I'm doing, so go ahead and place yours the same way. So look at what I'm doing properly and do yours the same way. You can see what I'm doing here. You can see how beautiful it looks. Okay, so just go ahead and do yours the same way, just the way I'm doing mine. All right, so guys, the space between this loop is about 1 inch. Okay, I have about 1 inch space between the loop, so just go ahead and do yours the same way. And then the next thing you're going to do is also repeat the same thing around this edge here. So look at what I'm doing properly and do yours the same way. So after fixing my loop, I noticed that it keeps getting to the place I'm going to have my sewing allowance. So what I did next is just to take out the loop and shift it inside. Okay, so that it does not get into the sewing allowance. Okay, so that not all of the loop should get into the sewing allowance. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I went ahead to shift it a little so that I can also stop stitch on top of the loop and still have some left at the outside, at the inside of the fabric. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead to just close up this part, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. So after stitching, this is what I have for the shoulder. You can see how beautiful the shoulder is looking and how neat it is. So after marking, this is what I have for my gown, and I went ahead to mark out my loop, and here I went ahead to just stitch this part by folding it in. You can see what the loops look like. So the next thing you're going to do right now is to bring in the sleeve. So for the sleeve, this is what I have. I'm gonna head to stitch it just the way I showed you. You can see what I have for the sleeve. Then for this sleeve, just go ahead and iron it like this. Iron the seams inside like this. That is how you're going to iron, so that the seams will be inside. Okay, so if you're sewing this sleeve, please use a black thread. Okay, so that the color of your thread will not be showing when you wear this sleeve. Okay, that's what you're, because one, I used the purple thread on the black net and it was showing. Okay, it was very visible, so I went ahead to take it out and then use a black thread. So use a black thread on the black net. Okay, so this is what it should look like when you are folded it in and ironed it. Okay, you can see how neat it looks. So the next thing I'm going to do is to trim it out, trim out the excess. Okay, and then go ahead to join it to the actual fabric. So for here, I'm just going to go ahead to trim out this excess part here. You can see what I'm doing. So if you have anything like this, just go ahead and trim it out. It is okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and trim it out like this. You can see what I'm doing now. So after trimming it out, I'll just go ahead to join my sleeve. So look at the way I'm going to be joining the sleeve, and you can see how neat this shoulder is looking. Okay, it is not bulky, it is very neat. Then go ahead and then join your sleeve around. All right, to join this sleeve, what I'm going to do right here is to measure the middle of the sleeve, notch it, and then join it using the middle of the sleeve. I'm going to place it at the shoulder line. Okay, place it on the shoulder line, and then go ahead and pin it down around. Okay, look at what I'm doing and do yours the same way. All right, make sure you arrange it properly and then pin it. Okay, pin it down like this, and then go ahead and stitch it down when you are done pinning, and make sure that you have a good finishing. Okay, make sure you pin it very well and make sure it is looking okay before you go ahead and stitch it down. All right, so I'm going to go ahead to keep on pinning until I get a good result before so at this side here, which is this side, I'm going to go ahead to open it a little because I want to pin it all through to the sewing allowance that I have on the gown. Okay, that is why I just opened this side up a little. So go ahead and do yours the same way. It is going to help you to have a neat finishing. All right, so go ahead and do yours the same way, then I'll come back and show you what next you should do. So guys, after pinning, you can see what I have. So go ahead and pin around like this. You can see how it is looking. Okay, make sure you pin it out very well. Look at what I have here after I'm done pinning. Just look at what I have. It came out really nice. So what you're going to do is just go over to your sewing machine and stitch it. Okay, make sure you sew the hemming part of this sleeve. If you have come to the end of this tutorial, don't forget to like, share, comment, tell me what you think about this tutorial. And this dress is ready for your ready to wear. See you on my next video. Bye.